Alrighty, this time we have Mienshao. Mienshao was the 7th most used Pokemon in doubles in December 2021 with the very respectable usage of 19.68, and now we're gonna take a look at why. So what makes Mienshao so good? Well, first of all, Inner Focus is amazing ability in doubles, especially now. So since since generation 8, Inner Focus is actually prevents getting intimidated, which was also applied to the PokeMMO metagame. So after Mienshao got the Inner Focus buff, it skyrocketed in usage. It jumped from like 5 to 6% to like 20 something percent in instantly. So people immediately caught up how much better Mienshao actually is now that it doesn't get intimidated. But yeah, the fact that Mienshao cannot be faked out and cannot be intimidated is huge, because those are basically one of the most powerful like support tools in doubles in general, and the fact that Mienshao is immune to both of them is very huge. So that makes Mienshao a very pressurizing lead. There we go, I got there eventually. Anyways, then it has a very strong stab attack. So a fighting type stab close combat with Mienshao's high attack is just a nuke. Like whatever you have is not gonna enjoy taking that with lightly. And then Mienshao also has the feared combination of fake out and feint. So not only does it have the access to fake out to basically improve positioning, but it can also use feint to punish any kinds of protects from opponent against this. And then Mienshao, if that wasn't enough, Mienshao also gets quick guard and wide guard, so it basically has like the whole pool of support tools as well, in addition to its great offensive power. Then what challenges does Mienshao face? Well, it's it's like the epitome of a glass cannon Pokemon. Like usually one misprediction means that Mienshao is going to get down. Like if it doesn't knock down its opponent, it's probably going down. Like especially Mienshao because its bulk is just pitiful. It's just it gets one hit KO'd often even without taking super effective hits, because its defenses are just absolute paper. So it better make sure that when it's shooting attack that it's actually going to take down something. And even priority attacks are can often take down Mienshao. So basically, Steel Gem Bullet Punch from Scizor can like kill Mienshao after like a one or two sand chips, which is kind of nuts. So it has to, and stuff like extreme speed from, let's say, Dragonite and stuff like that. It's just it can get like actually knocked out by just simple priority attacks, which kind of emphasizes how actually pitiful its defenses are. And fighting type cannot really hit everything. It's like there's flying types, ghost types. Like there's a lot of the times where even though Mienshao has a strong fighting attack, it's just doesn't really hit anything on the field. Then nature and EVs. I mean, this is very simple. Max speed, Jolly nature, just attack and speed. Don't go crazy. Like I know that there's like all these kinds of like impish Mienshaos in OU, which is fine. They're used to counter specific threats. That's understandable. But for doubles, don't go crazy. This is like just use this. You have no reason to do anything else. Otherwise, just don't use Mienshao in general. It's supposed to be fast and offensive. And then about the moves, well, first of all, Fake Out is just like just about the best move in doubles, so you should always use it. Especially because Mienshao cannot be faked out, but Mienshao can fake out, so that kind of like makes the whole board positioning very imbalanced in Mienshao's favor. Then you should use as main stab. I would highly suggest you should use close combat pretty much always. But you do have high jump kick if you're like absolutely crazy kamikaze. I just showed this calc just as a fun measure, but like high jump kick is the only move that you can have a guaranteed way to take down any kind of Porygon 2. So Porygon 2 isn't usually max HP, max defense, just for the record. But with a high jump kick, you have a chance to literally one shot any Porygon 2 there is, but it's only 25% chance. So in general, I don't recommend a high jump kick though. It's so unreliable. If your opponent uses protect, you're taking all the recoil. It's just not worth it. Just use close combat, trust me. But I just showed that it's an option, like theoretically. Um, yeah, last two moves can be lots of things. Feint again is very powerful move to punish any protects. But unlike in a Hitmontop's case, Mienshao has a very high risk of going for feint. Like if Mienshao goes for feint and the opponent doesn't actually protect, it might be a huge problem. Like it's a read that Mienshao absolutely has to get right if it's gonna go for it. Then it has Quick Guard and Wide Guard for team support, which is pretty cool. Then it has Protect for its own protection, which is very reasonable move to have because Mienshao is basically dropping to one attack, so it's often getting targeted at least by one mon. So having Protect to save itself, always reasonable. Then you have Rock Slide to hit, for example, flying types, as well as Wall Corona, for example, and you know it's Rock Slide. It's a fast Rock Slide user, so you can always get like a game-deciding flinch. Also useful against Chandler, but it's actually a good move in general, coverage-wise, because fighting type doesn't hit nearly as much of things that you want it to hit. Then you also have U-turn for momentum, and also as like a strong attack on Ridiculous. But yeah, because Mienshao is gonna take so much damage, so he can use U-turn and basically reposition itself, and allow something else to take the attack that would actually survive it. So U-turn is also a very reasonable option to have. Then for items, Fighting Gem is like a one-time nuke that is actually I would highly recommend. But then you have like Life Orb, which allows Mienshao to hit multiple times. And also a very popular option is just Focus Sash to make sure that Mienshao doesn't die in one hit because you know it has such paper defenses, and this allows basically Mienshao to at least take one attack. But I'll have to say, normally I would say Focus Sash Mienshao would be amazing, but there's a lot of Tyrannitars in the doubles metagame. So basically, after one Sand Chip, it no longer the Focus Sash no longer does anything. So you need to keep that in mind. Then team synergy. Mienshao is usually part of like fast offensive teams, which you know you want to do about. You want your both of your mons to outspeed both of your opposing mons. That's like the the main situation where Mienshao is gonna shine. So you have to knock out the opposing Pokemon before they can strike back. So that's the main way to play Mienshao. It doesn't really fit any kinds of team. So it's pretty much always used in tailwind teams, like for example with something like Crobat. Mostly with Crobat. Crobat Mienshao is one of the most common leads in MMO doubles. So yeah. And lastly, counterplay. I mean, even priority. Just bulky fighting, resisting Pokemon. Just make sure not every mon you have is gonna get dumpstered by Mienshao. And if you can enforce Trick Room, then Mienshao is just free. You know, you can just you can just take it with like any Trick Room user. So like, well, speed control in general, and priority is the way to go around Mienshao. But yeah, that's about it. Hope it was useful, and see you on the next one.